monster, Mr. Grinch. Your smile. Mr. Grinch, you're a crooked Mr. Grinch. You're the...
Yes, yes, Sir Hairless here. We have You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch by Pentatonix. Now, I'm very excited for this one. Ever since my first Pentatonix reaction with Matt as the bass, I have received a lot of requests for this one. They all say that Matt really takes center stage. One of my recent Pentatonix reactions, which was The Sound of Silence. We did see Matt get a fairly significant solo line in that one, so I am slowly seeing a bit more of him as a solo singer rather than just the bass parts. Please check out my reaction if you haven't already, card up here. To get in the mood for this, I've been listening to the original song many times. I understand there are various versions, but I've been listening to the Thurl Ravenscroft version. I hope it's pronounced Thurl and not Turl or something. He had such a deep voice, was so theatrical with it.
You're as cuddly as a cactus, you're as charming as an eel.
Some speaking in there as well.
Given the choice between the two of you, I'd take the seasick crocodile.
The music, it's great. I love it. It's fun, it's lively, it's got non-standard harmonies, jazz harmonies, and it's all about the rhythms. Swing rhythms, offbeats, and syncopations. It's quite lully, but has moments of agitation to kind of disrupt the flow of everything. A really clever bit of music. So I am super excited for this, super curious to see what Pentatonix do with it. I've been loving their arrangements so far. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Sorry, I'm going to do this little tease. I'm aware people skip my introduction and I want everyone to hear what I'm about to say. So very, very quickly, I will also be reacting to a live performance by Pentatonix of this. That will come after my reaction and analysis and can be found on my Patreon. So the video will be linked below. You'll also get access to all of my previous videos with additional content. And the live performance is live from Evergreen Experience 2021. Okay, now let's get straight into it.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. And you're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You've got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole, Mr. Grinch. You're a vile one, Mr. Grinch. You have termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Grinch. Given the choice between the two of you, I'd take the seasick crocodile. You're a foul one.
I love it. I love it. I'm getting constant waves of goosebumps. And usually when I get goosebumps, it's because the music is so emotional, but now it's just pure enjoyment, I think. I love it. Everything about it, the arrangement, the execution. Yes, it is a studio version. I wonder how many differences there'll be with the live performance afterwards. And the video as well. I've spoken about the Pentatonix videos before, and when I go off and listen to these many more times afterwards, it's often on Spotify or something. I'll listen to them maybe tens or hundreds of times. That's without the video, but the video just enhances it so much. I love it. For that reason, we're going to carry on. We're actually almost exactly halfway through. So let's carry on until the end, and then afterwards we'll go over the analysis.
You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. You're a nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks. Your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Grinch. The three words that best describe you are as follows, and I quote, stink, stank, stunk. Mr. Grinch, jockey, and you drive a crooked horse. Mr. Grinch, you're a toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce. You're a rotter, Mr. Grinch. You're the king of sinful sauce. Your heart's a dead tomato splotch with moldy purple dots. Mr. Grinch, Mr. Grinch, Mr. Grinch. Your soul is an appalling dump heap overflowing with the most disgraceful assortment of the most deplorable rubbish imaginable. Mangled up in, tangled up now. Grinch.
Woo! If my chair wasn't so big and I wasn't kind of stuck in between my chair and my table, I would walk around a bit. That was so fun. It will be another case where I will absolutely hate editing it and having to look at my face in that. I apologize. I think I'm maybe a bit red, and yeah, it's Christmas. I have a lot of videos to do. I don't want to make these too long. So let's just go straight into the analysis. I really don't know how to go through this. Normally I go through chronologically, but there were things that came at the end that are so relevant to the beginning. I don't know whether to try something different and just kind of pick a theme or a subject like the rhythms or the harmonies and just talk about that. No, I think I'll try and stick to it chronologically. It's just easier that way, but I may be a bit all over the shop. So if I am, I apologize in advance. Buying me a hot chocolate at the Buy Me a Coffee link below can prevent me being all over the shop. Hot chocolates keep me calm. So the first thing is the execution of this studio performance, and I'm emphasizing studio performance because I do think there's quite a lot of treatment in various aspects. Layering, vocal effects applied. I mean, let's listen to Kevin's opening and then the vocals. So again, I'm going to be really curious to see how it is live. I've just heard it once, and I think the arrangement is a very, very good arrangement for live performance. Anyway, what I'm saying, it's a studio video and it's perfect, as it should be. You know, I really, really, really like it. The first thing would be Scott on the bass. That's a bottom D. That's 2 notes lower than your choral lowest bass is expected to sing. This is really, really low. In The Sound of Silence, that was when I first heard Scott with a bass part, you know, doing it live as well. I'm just going to go back a bit though, because I was struggling to hear Scott as clearly. Can I hear him at all? Sorry, I'm an idiot. I was too engrossed in the live performance. Scott's doing the bass part. Stupid, Sir Hairless. Stupid. I love this newfound knowledge of bass Scott. It can just make Pentatonix that much more versatile. As we're seeing here, Matt is the protagonist, shall we say. He has the melody for the whole song. So big shout out to Scott. And I just want to listen again, this time with eyes closed, because he sounds like a seasoned bass. I do wonder if low-key it's because they're all getting older and maybe Scott prefers having lower down singing. All that said, Matt is singing in the introduction before the words come in. In theory, Matt could be singing the bass part. In the video, they've made it very clear it's Scott singing the bass part. Ba-bum. Jumping up there. The first chord we hear on the first is this chord in the upper 3 parts. Scott removed from the equation, he'd usually be here. So we've got Kirsty and Mitch up here. This lowest note is still really high. It's the top of a tenor's range, which in strict 5-part harmony would mean that that has to be Matt. I've not really heard Matt sing that high before, but just listening to that note there. It's also the note that the other parts all move to at the end of each da-da-da-da. They go to that note, so it is really difficult to hear. If I heard that with my eyes closed, I would say that's Mitch singing that part, so I would say there is multi-tracking. But like I say, I'm not really in a position to speak because I've not heard Matt sing high before, really. And I guess looking at the live performance afterwards will kind of clear these up for me. Anyway, it's a studio version. They can multi-track, they can layer. The goal should be to get the best sound possible. Really interesting, though. We can really hear Matt's part here, which, you know, I'm so used to hearing Scott in this range. It's Scott on the bass. I mean, it's so good. It's so good. So super, super tight sound, nice chromatic run going into Matt's vocal entry. Because I love this so much, I think I'm going to, after this, transcribe probably just until Matt's entry, maybe a little bit more, so then you can see the music if you're curious about it. And just before I do that, I just want to speak about the rhythms and what makes the rhythms so versatile in this song. Pentatonix do a lot of rhythmic changes. I'll touch on them when they come later on. All music has a time signature. They're the numbers at the beginning that will say like 3-4 or 4-4. What that means is you have 4 beats in a bar if it's 4-4. This is in 12/8, which you'll see when I put the music up. What that means is we can think of it as each measure or each bar having 4 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. But in compound time, we're going to be thinking of them as half of these big beats. So the 4 becomes 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What the 12 means is that each of the main beats that I was speaking about before, 1, 2, 3, 4, you have 3 smaller beats per main beat instead of just 2 smaller beats. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This way, each main beat is naturally divided into like a swing rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, instead of just 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Later on, they do change to this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's much more standard. Things might seem a bit more rigid, but when the music is very swingy and jumpy, this is why it's called compound time. Cue Sir Hairless from the future with the sheet music. This part in the accompaniment, one of my favorite parts in the original song.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
But it comes much lower down, you know, in the reeded instruments. When you have Kirsty and Mitch at your disposal, you use them higher up.
Mr. Grinch.
And being voices, having that wah type sound that Mitch is doing slightly before Kirsty comes in, really great effect. Now this bit here, this is an example of what I was talking about earlier in the introduction, where the original song, it kind of lulls us into a false sense of security because of how, lully is the word I used. But then the flow is suddenly disrupted by something like this.
Really are a hero. You're as cuddly as a cactus.
Each break we have gives them an opportunity to change things up. Just before that, we had wahs rising, and now wah.
Charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch.
There, Mr. Grinch. There's an example of thinking differently rhythmically. Instead of the cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha, it's now dup-bup-bup-bup. They do this a lot in the arrangement, so I don't think I'm going to speak about it more when it comes. Matt, he's really good in this, isn't he? There's something about his kind of baby face. We saw that in my behind the scenes video on Pentatonix's Making Christmas. I'll leave a link to that below if you're interested. But yeah, he kind of mentions his baby face and he's so smiley, which is really kind of beguiling. Now, I'm not too sure who's actually singing You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. It's not the Grinch himself, but I kind of came into this thinking Matt might be a little bit of a villain, but maybe he's actually portraying a good guy. Anyway, he looks like a good guy. I really love his facial expressions, very expressive face, which for something like this, super, super helpful, isn't it?
With a greasy black pea.
Nice smile, all the little eyebrow movements. And I need to stop just going through this chronologically because every few seconds there's something new. Pentatonix are just bombarding us with new ideas and little variations. Kirsty and Mitch, bum.
You're a monster, Mr.
Kevin now on the hi-hat, emphasizing the strong beats, Mitch and Kirsty coming in afterwards. New rhythmic variety of phrase.
Grinch. Your heart's an empty.
It's just very cool as well. I just feel like they all just look really cool in this.
Your heart's an empty hole.
Great video too. The first kind of moment of theatricality in the sense that Matt starts speaking rather than singing comes here.
Full of spiders, you've got garlic in your soul.
But I do like how the majority of it is very melodious singing. He just has a cracking voice all round, so well suited for this song. Then we get this bit about touching the Grinch with a 39-foot pole.
I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole.
Sorry, 39.5. But when I was listening to the original song on repeat earlier, I was wondering what they do here.
I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole.
So similar to the original, but also different in the sense Pentatonix is a lot more exaggerated. We have this ba ba
39.5-foot pole.
in the original. Can barely hear it down there. Dum.
I wouldn't touch you with.
Nice diminished chord in the ooh to cause tension. What are we building up to? And then ba ba in octaves, really, really exaggerated, high to low.
39.5-foot pole. Mr. Grinch.
The laugh, their groovy dancing. Kevin just keeping things so smooth. Back onto the video enhancing the music. We've seen them do this before, these kind of lag effects or rewind effects. Imagine if a vinyl is getting stuck ever so temporarily. And the video is just a great representation here.
Might see in your smile.
The effect is pretty much down to Kevin there, really. What follows?
All the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile.
This is that rhythmic change I was talking about. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, jumpa, dumpa. Now it's do, 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 do. Not as exaggerated as comes later on, and that's because of their oohs. If you have an ooh and you change on these strong notes, the beats aren't granular. We're not really thinking in terms of cha-cha-cha-cha. We're thinking cha-cha-cha-cha. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Mr. Grinch. Given the choice between the two of you, I'd take the seasick crocodile.
I've been talking about how they introduce new ideas every few seconds, it seems. There was a case where they reused the idea. The end of the phrase, the one about the 39.5-foot pole.
Given the choice between the two of you, I'd
Same diminished chord.
take the
Same octave jump. Where I paused at the halfway point, Matt's tone there, yeah, I don't know, I just had to pause.
You're a foul one.
Since the first time I saw Matt, you can see my reaction up here. That was, I just called to say I love you. I think one of the first things I said was he sounds like an instrument. His tone, perfect for a bass. We can really hear that here transferred to his vocals. We can all agree. That's so nice, such a nice tone there.
You're a foul one.
In headphones, I'm listening quite loudly. It just vibrates. Move forward to the end of this phrase. Again, we get the repeated idea, the same diminished chord. Last two times we had this, we had the octave bum, bum.
Are as follows, and I quote, stink.
This was another moment in the original where I found myself singing along. And I'm sure anyone else would. Naturally, you would just sing stink on the offbeats.
Stink, stank, stunk.
So I was wondering what Pentatonix would do here. We don't get the octave jump, and they do just that.
Stink, stank, stunk.
That bit I wasn't expecting though. Ch 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 ba da da dum. How fluid they change between these two rhythmic ideas of common time and compound time. And then we get this bit, and yeah, I just love it. Don't really need to talk about it much. How it almost seems improvisatory. The freedom, the changing ideas.
Mr. Grinch, you're a crooked jerky jockey, and you drive a crooked horse. Mr. Grinch.
The syncopations, the offbeats, the slight delays on entries or exits even. Everything is just not quite what we'd expect, and I love it for that. We do get a key change, and just before that is this real rhythmic vitality.
You're a toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce. You're a rotter, Mr. Grinch.
That's pretty much as smooth a key change as you can get. And now, because they've introduced so many different ideas, especially rhythmically, they've been running out of new tricks, and rightfully so. Now it's the lyrical manipulation. We get some homophony. They're singing the same words at the same time as him, then kind of echoing.
You're the king of sinful sauce. Your heart's a dead tomato spots with moldy purple dots.
Really clever. Also, is Mitch's hair real? Did he get it to grow that long? In terms of Matt's range, the note that I was saying earlier at the beginning he would be singing that I wasn't sure sounded like him. Now he does go up to just one semitone below.
Mr. Grinch.
Without an issue. So yeah, I don't know how high he goes in his chest voice. This is probably nearing the top, but I'm sure that he can get quite a bit higher. He of course finishes on that note. And just before that we have a really long repeated idea, that diminished chord.
Your soul is an appalling dump heap overflowing with the
We'll see how long this goes on for. About 10 seconds, I think. and then that octave jump again. Well, if you couldn't tell, I enjoyed that one. I'm going to go watch the live version now. Then after that, I'll transcribe the bit that I said I would before. And then after that, I will listen to this no doubt on repeat for the next day or two, or until I either go mad or something else comes along. As always, thank you very much for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. I hope you've been enjoying your festive season so far. If you want to see the additional live performance, you can do so by heading to the Patreon linked on the screen now. You will also get access to other exclusive content, and I will see you next time.